Overthinking is like sitting in a rocking chair. You keep moving, but you never get anywhere. The mind replays conversations that have already ended, imagines futures that may never happen, and dissects the present moment until it becomes impossible to enjoy. What begins as an attempt to find answers often becomes an endless cycle of worry, doubt, and mental exhaustion. We've all experienced it. Lying awake at night, replaying the same thoughts, wondering what we should have said, what we should have done, or what might happen tomorrow. The more we think, the less clarity we seem to find. More than 2,500 years ago, the Buddha carefully observed this restless nature of the human mind. He discovered that suffering is not created by thoughts themselves, but by the way we cling to them, chase them, and believe we must follow every one that appears. His teachings, and the wisdom preserved by generations of Buddhist practitioners, offer a different approach. Not by forcing the mind to become silent, but by learning how to relate to it with greater awareness and peace. In this video, we'll explore 6 Buddhist lessons that can help you quiet overthinking, let go of unnecessary mental burdens, and return to the only place where peace can ever be found, the present moment. Let's begin. The mind loves to travel through time. It wanders back into regret, replaying what has already happened, or races ahead into a future that hasn't yet arrived. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only place where life is actually unfolding, is quietly forgotten. The Buddha repeatedly encouraged his followers to cultivate mindfulness, to become fully aware of the body, the breath, and the experience of the present moment. Not because the past or future are unimportant, but because peace can only be found in the here and now. Imagine walking barefoot through a garden. If your mind is consumed by worries, you barely notice the scent of the flowers, the warmth of the sun, or the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. But the moment your attention returns to each step, the world seems to come alive again. A Zen master once asked his student, "Where are you right now?" The student replied, "Here, with you." The master smiled and said, "Then stay here." It's a simple lesson, yet one we constantly forget. Every time you notice your mind drifting into endless thought, gently bring it back. Feel your breath. Notice your surroundings. Give your full attention to the task before you. Overthinking cannot survive where awareness is fully present. The more often you return to this moment, the less power your wandering mind has over you. Being present is the first step. But even when we return to the present, another obstacle often remains: our desire to control what cannot be controlled. Overthinking is often an attempt to gain certainty. We replay conversations, imagine every possible outcome, and search endlessly for the perfect answer. The mind tells us, if I think about this long enough, I'll finally be at peace. But peace rarely comes from thinking more. It comes from letting go. One of the central teachings of Buddhism is that much of our suffering arises not from life itself, but from our attachment to how we believe life should be. We resist change, cling to expectations, and struggle against realities we cannot alter. Imagine standing in the middle of a river, trying to stop the current with your hands. The harder you fight, the more exhausted you become. The river doesn't change, it simply continues to flow. The only thing keeping you trapped is your refusal to let go. The same is true of life. When you find yourself caught in endless thought, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take the next wise step. If the answer is no, allow yourself to release it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop wasting your energy fighting battles that were never yours to win. Sometimes, the greatest act of wisdom is not holding on a little longer, but finally allowing yourself to let go. The modern world is designed to compete for your attention. Notifications, endless information, constant comparisons, and countless decisions fill the mind from the moment we wake up. It's no surprise that overthinking has become so common. Buddhism teaches that clarity doesn't come from adding more to our lives. It comes from letting go of what is unnecessary. The less clutter we carry, whether in our surroundings or in our minds, the easier it becomes to see what truly matters. Imagine trying to see your reflection in a lake during a storm. As long as the water is disturbed, the image remains unclear. But when the wind settles, the surface becomes still and everything comes into focus. The mind works in much the same way. When we fill it with endless distractions, opinions, and what-ifs, we lose the ability to think clearly. But when we simplify, doing one thing at a time, focusing on what truly deserves our attention, we create space for wisdom to emerge. Simplicity is not about owning less or doing less for its own sake. It's about making room for what genuinely matters. A peaceful mind is rarely a crowded one. One of the biggest reasons we overthink is because we believe every thought deserves our attention. But in Buddhism, thoughts are not seen as commands or facts. They are simply events that arise in the mind. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a wide open sky. Clouds drift across it. Some are light and gentle, while others gather into dark storms. Yet no matter how they appear, every cloud eventually passes. Your thoughts are much the same. Some bring joy, others bring fear, anger, or doubt. But like the clouds, they are temporary. They arise, they remain for a while, and then they fade away. Meditation teaches us to observe this process without becoming caught up in it. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," notice the subtle difference in saying, "An anxious thought is present." That small shift creates space between you and the thought. And in that space, you regain the freedom to choose how you respond. You don't have to chase every thought. You don't have to argue with it or push it away. Simply notice it and let it pass. The sky is never harmed by the clouds that move across it. In the same way, your awareness remains untouched by the thoughts that come and go. Much of our overthinking begins with attachment. We cling to outcomes, relationships, possessions, and even the image we have of ourselves. We want life to unfold in a particular way, and when it doesn't, the mind refuses to let go. It replays the past, imagines different futures, and searches endlessly for a way to avoid loss. The Buddhist teacher Ajahn Chah once spoke of a beautiful glass that he treasured. Holding it up, he said, "To me, this glass is already broken." He wasn't being pessimistic. He simply understood that everything is temporary. One day the glass would fall, crack, or disappear. Knowing this allowed him to appreciate it fully while it was still in his hands. Everything in life is like that. Our successes, our failures, our youth, our possessions, and even the people we love are all subject to change. This isn't a reason for despair. It's a reminder to appreciate what we have without trying to possess it forever. The tighter we hold on, the more restless the mind becomes. Non-attachment doesn't mean loving less. It means loving without trying to control. It means enjoying each moment while accepting that nothing lasts forever. When we stop trying to hold on to the unholdable, overthinking begins to lose its grip, and the mind discovers a quiet freedom that cannot be taken away. It may seem surprising, but one of the most powerful remedies for overthinking is compassion. Much of the noise in our minds doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from the way we speak to ourselves. We replay our mistakes, criticize our decisions, and convince ourselves that we should have been better, smarter, or stronger. Buddhism offers another path through the practice of metta, or loving kindness. Rather than fighting the mind, we learn to meet it with patience and understanding. A traditional metta meditation begins with a few simple wishes. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Then, little by little, those same wishes are extended to others, to loved ones, to strangers, and even to those we find difficult. Something remarkable happens when we practice this regularly. The inner critic begins to soften. The mind spends less time judging and more time understanding. Instead of becoming trapped in self-criticism, we begin to respond to ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a close friend. Compassion doesn't erase difficult thoughts, but it changes our relationship with them. A gentle mind is a quieter mind. And when we learn to treat ourselves and others with kindness, we create the conditions for real and lasting peace. Overthinking is something we all experience. It's part of being human, but it doesn't have to control the way we live. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that peace isn't found by thinking more. It's found by changing our relationship with our thoughts. Be present. Let go of what you cannot control. Choose simplicity. Watch your thoughts without clinging to them. Practice non-attachment, and meet yourself with compassion. None of these lessons will silence the mind overnight, but with patience and practice, they can help you step out of the endless cycle of overthinking and into a place of greater clarity and peace. So the next time you find yourself lost in thought, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Ask yourself, do I need to follow this thought, or can I simply let it pass? Sometimes that's all it takes. The mind becomes a little quieter. The present moment becomes a little clearer. And you discover that the peace you were searching for was never somewhere else. It was here all along. If today's exploration resonated with you, we highly recommend The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's one of the clearest and most accessible introductions to Buddhist philosophy, offering timeless wisdom on mindfulness, compassion, and finding peace in everyday life. You'll find a link to the book in the description and in the pinned comment. You can also explore more philosophy and psychology books through our bookshop page. If you'd like to explore more ideas like these, consider subscribing for more explorations of philosophy, psychology, and the timeless ideas that continue to shape the human experience. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thank you for watching.